We are in the Catalyst studio for My Mayor with candidate Vince Nowicki. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Joe. How are you doing today?
I feel welcome. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for being here with us.
So how's life on the campaign trail?
Life on the campaign trail is going great. The field's gotten a little bit more crowded, but I really think there's not much separation between all the other candidates and myself. So the campaign trail is going great, continually talking to people every day over special interests, and we're making a good impact, as we've seen with polls and donations.
So our topic for today is our education system and things you'd like to see added or augmented in the curriculum, different subjects or items that our students should be exposed to. So let's jump right off with item number one.
Yeah, so item number one is I think we definitely need to have a more inclusive tone instead of critical race theory. So I think that we should get rid of critical race theory throughout schools and expel that as much as possible and have an inclusive tone talking about struggles and how everyone and how this country was built together versus dividing us as people.
Okay, can you dig in a little more to how that would actually express itself? Or are we looking at in the history classes or in our civics classes, or where do you think that best expresses itself?
Well, I think a combination throughout, right? Martin Luther King said, if you're going to do a job so well, irrespective of race, and that no one else could do it any better. And so I think even with history and civics, everything's divided up by, the color of your skin, whether it's partisan politics, what you look like, who you love, everything's divided instead of being just, hey, we're one America, we're all Americans. And then that's what should be taught in school, America First policy.
Okay, let's go for item number two. What else you got?
Yeah, so for item number two, as most people watching this, the mayor really doesn't have any control over, the school or the school board or what's taught in schools. So one thing that I think I would like to develop as mayor would be a children's chamber of commerce, that through a private and public partnership, we could go into schools and teach kids how to open up and start a business, how to, do a pro forma, profit and losses, and how to just run and operate a business on a day-to-day scale. And then also what could be done in schools with the city is, we have a port. We could teach kids how to be a longshoreman. We have a municipal airport. We could teach kids airport administration, airport management, how to fly planes. The city, we have a municipal marina. We could teach kids how to sail. So the city has a lot of resources that we could leverage to help kids outside of the classroom and not just to get a traditional education.
Okay. So, with that, to get specific around specific topics like running an airport or being a longshoreman, do you see that more as moving the education outside of the traditional school environment, where they go and experience that on the job and learn from the folks on the job, or is that something where you actually think we should introduce those curriculums as part of like a technical education?
Well, I think it's good to introduce it in the school, and then as kids develop a passion and an interest for those fields, we take them outside of the classroom and use the resource-rich area that we have and the actual resources that city own to help kids further in education and have a passion and interest outside of just traditional curriculum.
Okay, so let's move on to your third item.
Yeah, so the third item would be teaching kids an importance of what an authoritative source is and writing research papers. So, as we see today with so much online schooling and online learning, there's not that, go into the library and talking to librarians to get, authoritative sources for research papers. So I think that's one skill, teaching kids and teaching young adults to be independently able to do research and holding people accountable. That could be a skill that could be lifelong beneficial. That's one thing that helped me when I was in high school. We had a great librarian and a great library where we would go and learn what's really an authoritative source or what's from a medical journal versus something off of Wikipedia. Having authoritative sources to use and citing in our research papers made us have a much more compelling argument in our research papers. And that's one thing that when I went into college, I had a huge advantage of a lot of other classmates.
And that sort of connects to some of the things you've talked previously about with investigative journalism and really understanding where your information comes from. Is it safe to assume then that you would look to bring some of that same logic to to the city as well if you were to be an elected mayor?
Yeah, I love always when people, future pace that, when I get elected. So when I get elected as mayor, it's definitely something that, we need to have a focus on is transparency in government, being open, doing business in the light of day, on daylight, and then also being credible in what we say.
All right. Vince Nowicki, candidate for mayor, join us in the college studios. Good to see you again.
Thanks, Joe. Pleasure as always.